Welcome back to WCS Summer live from Kyiv, Ukraine. It's time for another Protoss versus Terran, and it's going to be a great one. The Muslim MaNa going up versus SpeCial.
Yeah, I mean, we already casted one great series earlier with Hellraiser against Kelazure, and this one, we saw SpeCial take down Hearthstone in, like, clinical fashion.
Yeah.
He was so good, so fast everywhere, and in true SpeCial fashion, multitasking, and throwing out strategies that you never really see anywhere outside of TY and SpeCial, which I think is really cool.
Well, how confident does that make you feel about his chances here going up against MaNa?
It's a tough one. Like I think MaNa's got his work really cut out for him here, because going up against a guy that can throw everything at you at very weird times and also has a huge array of builds, it gets very, very tough.
How about the current map pool? Like, you know, with some of the maps being newer ones here in the map pool and being changed from season to season, where does PvT stand at right now? We haven't seen you tweet all that much as of late. Like, you know, we talk about players being vocal. Now that you're a caster, you're not nearly as vocal. Like, what do you think PvT is at right now?
It's definitely tough, but it's tough on both ends. And I feel that Terrans have really started to utilize a lot of their weapons a lot better.
Yeah.
And one of them is variety. Like I've talked about this. One of the reasons that this matchup can seem so one-sided at different eras in time is because both these guys, both these races, have a lot of weapons up their sleeves. A long time ago, we didn't see Banshees being used at all in this matchup. It was kind of a no-go zone. Liberators are back, Widowmine drops are back,
Ravens.
Tanks are back, Ravens are back. Every unit can be utilized. Even Mech made a bit of a comeback recently, so I think Terrans are making a bit of a comeback.
And after seeing SpeCial play against Hearthstone, that was a very clean victory from him. Would you say, like, were you able to maybe pick up on some of his weaknesses? Like, if you were MaNa going into this matchup, like, is there anything that you can tell us that you think might be a good idea to do against him? Or did he just look solid everywhere?
It's so hard to abuse SpeCial's weakness, because if I said he had one, it would be a little bit of his late game micro.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he makes it so hard for you to get to the late game without being extremely bruised or mortally wounded that he tries to avoid that. So he actually plays around his weakness, and it makes his weakness almost never appear unless he plays somebody like SpeCial that can survive all the onslaught.
All right, we're going to get started here with map number 1 being Acropolis. Between these two, yet again, it's the best of 5 here in this round of 16 playoff match. And starting in the northwest, playing as the Blue Protoss, it is the Polish player Liquid's MaNa.
One of the long-stay members on Team Liquid these days. He joined quite a while ago with Team Liquid's Bunny, who is retired now, but he is a household name in StarCraft 2. And spawning over in the bottom red side, as our Red Terran, it is SpeCial.
Going with a little bit of a cheeky proxy here in game number 1, looking to set the pace up for the whole series. And something that you wouldn't necessarily expect out of him, even though, you know, he's been capable of doing this in the past. It wasn't necessarily against Protoss all the time.
Oh, definitely. And you asked me about the new maps in this pool, and Acropolis is strongly considered a Protoss-favored map in this matchup. It takes only one building to block off the jump-up path, which is a big deal. But also, there's only one way through the natural to get into the main, and this, opening up the series like this, and he is a player with so many builds up his sleeve. I really like this for SpeCial.
And we see that MaNa actually scouted around the bottom side of the map, even going through that watchtower here to get a little bit of extra vision, but the proxy location from SpeCial hasn't been spotted. Now as MaNa gets to scout inside of the main base of SpeCial, he's going to see that there is no barracks anywhere near, but he cannot know how many barracks there are on the map. And in this case, it's the 2 with the 1 tech lab.
This is one of those situations as well, like given that he was so safe about scouting for a proxy, his probe actually arrived 20 seconds later in the main base than it should have, making him find out about this proxy, and he doesn't know what yet much, much later.
So second tech lab is going down. Is this just going to be a lot of Marauders and some good old kiting here?
I think it's going to be quite a lot of Marauders and probably a few SCVs joining them. And within regards to what do you need to deal with this, you need shield batteries, you need stalkers out, you need a lot of units very, very quickly.
You need Mothership Core? Wait, what?
Oh, what? Is this 2016?
Yeah, shield batteries, like, you're going to need the pylon, like, down right now down the ramp, and even then, you know, they'll keep the units alive, but just the kiting itself is going to be so dangerous. Ideally, you need Immortals. So I really like that MaNa is already throwing down the Robo, even though on paper, like, I mean, we already see the Marauder production in full effect. He's got 3. He's going to march across the map. How important is the bunker?
The bunker is super important. Marauders in that guy, they don't die. The bunker can be repaired, whereas the rest of the units cannot, besides the SCVs, of course, when they repair each other. But MaNa right now looks pretty comfortable to just kind of be like, okay, I'm going to kind of give up this Nexus. But no, the probes are pulled. That shield battery on the high ground also not spotted by SpeCial. So that could absolutely come into effect later on.
Yeah, some good kiting already here, making sure that these probes cannot get a full surround. They're tanking a bunch of the damage. He's going to just keep the high ground. I really like that by MaNa. But Marauders, oh, they were looking to go forward to try and get some snipes on these Stalkers. MaNa doing a very good job of not losing these so far. And he hasn't started an Immortal yet. He just has a shield battery on the high ground.
Wow, and SpeCial actually committed a scan there to making sure he could see the high ground, which MaNa, he was already backing off to the Nexus and backing off to that shield battery. Now it's a dance, a real dance. He can't get hit by the Marauders, but he's also focusing the low health Marauders. This is so good for MaNa now. He's holding this really darn well.
Yeah, there was no follow-up SCV here to finish that bunker up. The one Stalker surviving and surviving as the Marauders die one by one. That bunker never was finished.
Oh my gosh.
And SpeCial just taps out. MaNa will take game number 1 after a failed cheese from SpeCial.
Wow. Honestly, I haven't seen that held as well as that before. Like, that is a really strong hold by MaNa. And he just left a message to SpeCial, and that is, you don't do anything cheeky against me because I have solid micro, I have solid decision-making, and when it comes to controlling Stalkers, if you said MaNa was a unit, he'd be the Stalker man. He is really good with them.
Really, I would have said the DT. Okay,
really,
no,
with
actually,
MaNa? Stalker.
That's in control, I'm sorry.
You know, like, one thing with MaNa, like, whenever you are attacking, whenever you deal damage, you can bet your bottom dollar that 10 Stalkers are marching across the map to deal damage to you in some way.
Yeah, that was very nicely done here, and SpeCial will have to try something different here. As that one bunker sadly didn't finish. That would have been a game changer, I think. He didn't even start an Immortal, actually. Really interesting. I thought that was going to be key, but no, actually 3 Stalkers were enough with the shield battery.
It was about halfway done, but like he did all the damage with the Stalkers, right? And the probes were just enough. Like, you know, you might be
the right amount of probes for sure, I think.
Exactly.
A
Like
little bit more, a little bit less, and it would have been worse.
Exactly. I think MaNa handled that as about good as you can. And the shield battery on the high ground too, like you saw, SpeCial kind of committed close to the Stalkers, and it's like, oh my gosh, they're actually healing from the high ground. So that shield battery was in a key location there to stopping that.
All right, our second map going to be New Repugnancy.
Oh, I'm a bit surprised that this wasn't vetoed. New Repugnancy being the map that SpeCial pulled out the 2-Rax Reaper build against Harstem and absolutely punished him.
Let's get started here with map number 2. We had a quick one in game number 1. I expect probably longer games here as the series goes by, starting in the northeast side here of New Repugnancy, playing as the blue Protoss. It is Liquid's player, MaNa.
And spawning over in the bottom left side as our Red Terran. Crazy Juanito, some call him. And spam those Doritos for him in the Twitch chat, boys. It is SpeCial.
He's got a lot of nicknames, like not just
One
the
True
ones,
Han.
yeah, not just the ones that he's picked himself, but also those that we gave him. You know, Papi.
At some point, we called him El Diablo and stuff. And
yeah, that was the silliest one of them all, I think. El Diablo.
He's just a really good player. And this time also, you know, he's not going to make the life of the Protoss easy here. He's got that fake proxy barracks, which we have seen earlier in the tournament. I think it was actually by Kellezer against Hellraiser.
Yeah.
And here, this probe went immediately across the map now. So he sees the double gas, he sees that the barracks is missing. Now, one thing that is very indicative of the double barracks is Reapers, and then a factory follow, whereas before he only saw one gas, which is more indicative of Marauders. And the fact that MaNa was so good about reading it in the first game, I bet that he'll know what's going on this game too. But the thing is, he doesn't know where the barracks will be.
Yeah. He might be able to realize when he sees the timing on SCV pulling back here, which SpeCial's trying to hide. Oh, that's so nicely done. Just outside of the vision. Oh, MaNa doesn't fall for it. He was going to check that corner anyway to see if there were barracks.
So now he knows the barracks is close to home, and look at this. MaNa, he's a smart dude. He does see this one proxy barracks, and he also sees that it's really close to SpeCial's base. He was producing a second gateway already, by the way.
And I think he's going to redouble check the wall to see if maybe the factory is there. He's kind of hiding in a corner right now. Again, the positioning of the factory, like you mentioned earlier in the previous series where that happened, that it's important to know where it's going down to make sure it's not too close to your base. Is that a crazy overreaction, or no, he's just going to play aggressive, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is either MaNa getting super fooled, but the fact that he saved up Chrono Boost for this double gateway, it feels like he thinks he can somehow break this.
He's proxying a pylon.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, you want to proxy with me? Let's see how well you can deal with this. But SpeCial, it did scout that there was no second Nexus, so he should know that this is coming. Starts a bunker on his side of the map. He's going to start a tech lab as well on the one factory, fly back the barracks back at home. And he's reading this perfectly right now.
I think SpeCial's doing a lot of the right stuff, actually. Whoa, a proxy robo. Oh, look at this scouting by SpeCial. He sees it immediately. The probe runs away, and you can bet your bottom dollar that MaNa just took a big gulp because that, he didn't want it scouted.
So much for playing the longer macro games. So far this series has been all-out aggression here from both players.
And what a funny way to start the series by both of them. And I mean, this isn't a good start. Oh, if that pylon gets denied. Okay. Stalker will show up here. And no more Reapers are joining the field, meaning that map control does go to MaNa at this point. But MaNa, he has to get something done because there's still no Nexus on the way.
Should he go there with the Cyclone, you think?
I think actually he could. That pylon being a little bit wounded here. The thing is, he has to keep a good tab.
Okay, now he can't.
Is that both Reapers?
Yeah.
That is so bad for SpeCial.
Yeah, that's really, really bad, actually. Like, now he has one single Marine in that one bunker.
And
he can't send the Cyclone there. Oh my god, there's two Stalkers. They murdered your friend. Go home.
I tell you what, this is... I don't know what MaNa's going to do to break this, but it isn't a lot, right? It's a Widowmine being produced as well. It's not a tank or anything like that. He's producing 2 Marines at a time now, and a Nexus is now on the way. I mean, it's obviously a very strange setup for MaNa.
Yeah, the counter-aggression with the Liberator is going to be scary. Like, we see the Starport being rallied all the way across the map here through the bottom.
And even getting a Liberator, like, he knows he's against a Robo. I'd have been so much more careful. I'd have been getting out a tank, a Viking, to stop all that aggression. But the thing is, with losing the Reapers, he has no more vision. He doesn't know if that Nexus is going up or not.
The War Prism is really the X factor here in helping Micro with this. It basically gives some sort of blink to the units that don't have blink, the Stalkers and the Immortal.
That tank popping out on the wrong side of that factory, by the way. If he pushed up at that moment in time, that could have been super dicey for SpeCial. But now his defense is looking a lot better. He's got this Cyclone in a position that will catch the Warp Prism. And look at that Viking timing, by the way. It pops out at a beautiful moment. That Warp Prism forced away, but this Immortal... Cyclone does not want to be dancing with that Immortal.
And Liberator across the map is going to start on dealing a ton of damage to those pros. MaNa's not looking there. His Warpins are probably on cooldown cycle there. He cannot warp in anything just yet. He's going to warp into Stalkers. The damage already has prevented a lot of mining.
Oh, this is a really bad spot for MaNa. Like 26 workers against 33. His push did no damage really whatsoever. And now he's getting delayed by a Liberator. And this Liberator got a good scout off because I think he saw the natural of MaNa as well.
Is he going to scan for the Observer?
Oh no, he actually still doesn't know about the one base. Charge starts up now as well.
I think, no, he flew by the probes mining on the natural, so I think he should know about the natural.
I think he should, especially with that setup, and also the fact that he hasn't really been pushed on his side of the map super darn hard, right? It's been one Warp Prism and an Immortal. But this defensive setup from SpeCial, he's even saving up scan energy and stuff too. Like, I don't think he knows what's going on exactly, but he knows there's something.
And in this case, it's charge that's being made right now from MaNa. He's already got a pretty, I guess, pretty good economy now that he's started fully saturating the expansion that he's got. That robot has proxied on the map, though. Eventually, it's bound to fall if SpeCial can finally break out. He does scan, kills the Observer that was giving so much information to MaNa here for the longest time.
One of the issues here is MaNa, he's going, yeah, as you said, he has to give up that Robotech if the game goes on. But with the amount, or with the fact that he's getting charged so early, I expect like a flood of gateways pretty soon, and he's going to, wow, a Templar Archives as well.
Whoa, he's going for it. MaNa goes for some force fields. Okay, he changes his mind the last second, sees that there are enough tanks to hold on against this. This is just like an old school 2-base charge into High Templar, maybe Storm build.
Maybe Storm build. You're totally right, because right now MaNa can do a lot of things, but the thing is, which one will be the right choice against SpeCial? I love this tank positioning. This means that the army of MaNa can't really defend this Robo, and you see how he's using his Marines.
Oh my god,
here.
he missed the... Oh, no, he didn't.
Oh, second scan.
Yeah, that's very costly here.
Definitely makes MaNa smile seeing that in the tech lab. Wait, did he go? Wait, did he skip Stim entirely? Was he just going for Combat Shield? I
Yeah.
think so. I think that means that SpeCial's getting ready for a big push here. Without Stim or any of those upgrades, Combat Shield finishes much earlier. And yeah, SpeCial, I think he's going to be looking to move out very, very soon.
That's 21 Marines that are going to be lacking the combat shield here. That's a lot of hit points.
Oh, I tell you what, scanning that base and seeing the Templar Archives working its magic, though, that would stop any sort of only Marine push without Stim. And that's exactly what SpeCial does. He goes back home. He puts up a third base. These guys are playing each other.
It's so like, there's so many mind games and little things that are happening, small skirmishes, proxies, like we're seeing it all here already in the first 2 games.
And now MaNa, upon knowing that he's not getting attacked anymore, because of the scan, right, that slows down the whole thing, he puts up his own third base. So this is no longer PvT. This is both of them testing each other, seeing if they can react appropriately and do the right thing. And so far, in a game that is absolutely unorthodox, they're both making the right moves and the right calls.
Liberator in the main base again. And MaNa remade the Robo back at home. I like that because he's already basically reaching Storm here. He has to think about what's the next step. That one's Viking. That's a very ambitious one. Getting actually some probes here. Oh, getting quite a few probes
12.
with the Liberator that's in the main base.
Oh,
that's not being defended. What? MaNa's attacking on the other side of the map. He's fully engaged into that tank line and all of those Marines. What is going on?
This is chaos, Todd. This is chaos. The Warp Prism stays alive with just a lick of health. The Immortals are still full health. He's pulling the SCVs, and now an Immortal is on the main base of SpeCial. The thing is, that Warp Prism has to survive if he wants to keep this push going, and he's going all out for the main. He's bypassing the tank entirely, keeping the Immortals alive. This is so dicey.
The Warp Prism is so low on hit points. If he loses that, there will be no escape for these Immortals, but maybe they don't need to escape. Maybe it's SpeCial that's trapped in there with them. SCV's being pulled off the line here. They're going to help try and do some tanking for the units to get the cleanup. SpeCial ahead in supply, but can he finally trade with his units well enough? The Warp Prism really the escape card here for these Immortals. And
no Stim still. They've both been wounded here. Lots of SCVs went down. Finally, that Liberator might get cleaned up. Oh my gosh, is it actually going to beat the Stalker in the 1v1? Oh!
Double KO!
Wow, at least he got rid of the Liberator. That's actually quite a big deal. And the supplies are as close as they've ever been in this game. Both set back to square one almost.
What a crazy game. So many units have died. 22 probes, 18 SCVs. They've traded entire small armies here already. And from there, they're actually pretty even in supply now. Both can take a third base. Like MaNa already has his SpeCial. Will be flying that command center there in a second. But MaNa still posturing forward here with these 2 Immortals, the 1 Archon, some Charge Lot, and that 1 Hero Prism that has a High Templar inside right now with Storm.
This could be... Oh, I'm so scared about these Widow Mines connecting with that Warp Prism. But the Immortals, they get on top of the tank. And these, they're just armored units, Todd, for SpeCial.
He's got a Storm. Oh my god. He's got 1 more Storm even.
Those SCVs, they are all clumped up. There's so much army on top of this ramp. Can SpeCial hold on? The Widow Mine almost connected with that High Templar, but he picked it up with the Warp Prism. And right now the army runs away. The Immortal's dealing so much damage, but the Warp Prism gets a good hit. The Warp Prism's almost dying here.
And so many SCVs dying. MaNa even attacked the unbuildable plate here for a second. He doesn't even care. The Warp Prism's still really low. SpeCial defending from the high ground with those Marauders, Marines, getting down to try and finally take out this Prism that's somehow still alive. I don't even know how. Widow Mine's burrowing.
And the Warp Prism, it flies behind enemy lines here. But look, SpeCial on the other side of the map is also dealing critical damage. He's taken out all the pylons. No more Warpins available. Can these Zealots clean it up? The Warp Prism, oh my god.
Will that Risen die already? What is going on? It's been on 18 hit points for like 2 hours.
MaNa now eked out a little bit of supply lead. He's actually got a bank behind this, but he can't spend his money because SpeCial actually...
Is he calling? He just killed 25 SCVs, by the way.
This is a crazy game. He's down to 15 SCVs, Todd. If he can get some pylons up and spend his money, he's so far ahead. But look, SpeCial, he's moving out across the map with his army.
Oh, he gets the Prism!
That's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Finally gets it. The third orbital is still up, so he's going to have some mules to work with, but it's still 40 probes to 17 SCVs. Let's see if SpeCial can catch MaNa off guard here with that attack around the third base. So many probes are exposed there. The entire army is in the main base right now. For MaNa, who's focused on defending against this one Medivac, he's going to lose so many probes.
Yeah,
it's a slugfest. It's a bloodbath.
It truly is, and there's no recall for those probes, so they all fall down, which is a massive... Oh, and the Widow Mines finished the job as well. MaNa was unable to spend his money for so long this game, and this Medivac's still alive. What is going on this game?
All over the place. MaNa now trailing behind in supply, having lost his third base. SpeCial still making SCVs across the map. Upgrades are going to start from MaNa. He's struggling. SpeCial is running all around the place, killing stuff left and right, and I mean, MaNa is running out of like expensive units here in a second if he finally loses these Archons. And the one High Templars lands a big storm on top of this army. Both players have such small armies, but they're making the most of them.
And at this point, it's really, really neck and neck, although the main base of MaNa is under attack. It is John, Rambo, and Jim. They are dealing so much damage in the main base. 27 probes have fallen.
He saves it!
Wow, how many kills for these Marines? They are truly heroes. 13 kills on one, 24 or 12 on the other. Wow, 22 kills combined. So much carnage from just 2 Marines.
Yeah, SpeCial might want to retreat here. MaNa is going for the all-out counter-attack. He's down to 14 probes. He might be the one that's going all in here with some very strong units. 3 Archons, 2 Immortals. He's got 4 High Templars loaded in that War Prism. There are Widow Mines on the other side. SpeCial regrouping. He needs to make sure he can hold on against this, and I think he might have done it.
I have never seen 2 Marines just left uncontested in a base before, and he was like, no, I'm not going to deal with them anymore. Trying to dodge the Widow Mine hits with the Warp Prism, and he does a pretty good job. This is still a decent army. It's got High Templars, but it's everywhere with nice storm. Oh my gosh.
And there's 3 more High Templars behind this. All of them just got a storm with 75 energy. Let's see if they can land some of these.
And he does, he lands it. One whiffs at the top of the ramp, but the other one hits in a big way. Wait. Oh, and another one, but his army's getting whittled down. It's getting whittled down and made, or rather SpeCial, he is pouncing. The last Immortal falls. 1 Archon remains in this attack. MaNa's down to 20 supply. The War Prism still survives the Archon, but
20 supply. Look at it, the Muslim. 68 to 20 supply. I think SpeCial's finally done it here with that defense. Lands a bunch of mules on his 3rd base. He's absolutely smashed the economy of MaNa and forced him to go for an attack that I think he didn't want to go for.
What a call by SpeCial. Moving out across the map, but he takes this game. And the series is tied up.
One of the craziest games I've ever seen here. So scrappy. Very few units against very few units, but very micro-intensive. These guys gave it their all.
That wasn't easy on both sides. They really crippled one another, destroying their economies entirely, reset time and time again. And the way that that game started off as well, that was an incredible TVP to watch.
I mean, that was as intense as it gets from minute number 1 here. Barracks outside of his base, the mind games.
The double gateway as a response.
Yeah, like everything. Proxy robo that is then defended, that War Prism that just refused to die. And it looks so bad for SpeCial for a second, but then finally he started dropping across the map, started on doing some damage. And some of those Liberators were insane also across the map. He killed so many probes all of a sudden. Without that, he would have been in much more trouble than he was now.
Yeah, the Wild West shootout between the Liberator and the Stalker, and they both killed each other. And then the 2 Marines that had 12 kills and 10 kills. Oh my gosh. I mean, that was so...
That's what it takes to win a TVP, the Muslim.
Oh. Some of the decision-making was really cool, too.
Yeah.
Like, when he scanned the main, saw it was a Templar Archives, he's like, okay, I'm not going to move out, I'm going to take a 3rd. And MaNa, upon seeing that the move out wasn't happening, he was like, I'm also going to take a 3rd. Like, they were really just playing each other and abiding by the true laws of RTS.
It's crazy for us, too, because we see everything. Imagine in their mind, like, when they didn't always have the perfect info, they couldn't see all the numbers necessarily. Insane game number 2 here. And this is still a best of 5. They've got everything to play for, starting in the northwest here, playing as the Blue Protoss. It is Liquid's MaNa.
And spawning over in the bottom right side as a Red Terror, and he just equaled up the series. It is SpeCial. And I'm super impressed by MaNa, Todd. I'm super impressed, because after seeing SpeCial dismantle Hearthstone, I really thought MaNa was maybe going to be a little bit outclassed, but what he's shown us already in this series, he's going toe-to-toe with SpeCial, and in a right amazing way.
You're impressed by MaNa. I'm impressed by SpeCial. Yeah, there was an Immortal War Prism on his side of the map that was just never dying, and that helped MaNa kill so much stuff.
I have goose pimples,
Yeah,
Todd.
I see them.
I have actual goose pimples.
You've got some nerd shields.
Oh, like they're both playing so well against one another. Like, I can't tell you how pleasing this is to the eye to see them both make the right calls time and time again. And these fights, that Warp Prism micro as well was really good, and trying to dodge as many storms as possible in that tight little area.
I think it was really clever by SpeCial to get as many Widow Mines as he did. Because in a low econ game like this, it just feels like there wasn't enough for MaNa, who wasn't even like Stalker heavy or Immortal heavy, so he couldn't deal with it so well. And I mean, against the charge in particular that he was getting, Remember, at the end of the day, he just won a game without going for a single ghost against somebody that had a ton of Archons and High Templars, just by keeping it low econ and fighting all the time.
And both these players, they have to respect the other one now because they've both shown that they are very, very capable of sending a Warp Prism or a Medevac to the other side of the map and just reaping havoc. Or wreaking havoc even.
What's the SCV across the map up to? Is that just for a scout?
I think it's just playing safe at this point, yeah. So he's got a Reaper on the way. Like it's a very standard build on both sides by the looks of it. And yes, it is. Although, okay, I was about to say, I thought it was a second Reaper being made, but no, it is a Marine and he is going to look for that probe.
We don't see too many proxy factories anymore nowadays. Kind of fell out of fashion. And again, SpeCial is one of the guys that exchanges a lot with TY. They're always talking strategies, like they're using each other's builds. TY actually said something very interesting at Home Story Cup. He said that usually, he was the master, he was the teacher, but these days SpeCial was playing so well that maybe he had surpassed him. He was the one that was playing better, he thought.
That's an incredible compliment to receive from someone like TY, especially since TY was SpeCial's favorite player and still is and always has been. Now, there is a CC going down, there's a factory going down, and there's also a reactor on that barracks. Now, Terrans, they have a lot of decisions to make. And the fact that the factory is quite far away from the barracks too probably says that it's more likely to be Widow Mines and probably might eke out like a Widow Mine drop at some point.
He just got a perfect scout across the map, by the way. He saw the Twilight Council here, did SpeCial. He's still sticking around. He saw that there were not many units to defend, just the one Stalker, so he actually allowed himself to shoot those probes for a little bit. Can he escape? Oh my god.
Is this a James Bond Reaper? It is. The Adeptor kind of stopped chasing at some point, but won't be able to catch him anyhow. So Marines are being added from that reacted barracks. We've got a Starbolt and we've got Widow Mines on the way. So King's Cove, I've said it time and time again, the second base and the third base of the Protoss, those mineral lines are extremely exposed. And quite often you find a lot of ways for air units to get into the base and deal a lot of damage. But MaNa going back to his...
Yeah, by exposed, you mean there is like a lot of dead space around it that you can't fly in from with Medivacs or even Liberators.
They're to the edges of the map, and as soon as you get into the base, there's a mineral line if you are an air unit. But MaNa going back to his bread and butter here with the Blink Stalkers, and I think that's a really good way to open up this game. It feels like the players have allowed us to take a few breaths of air after the first two exciting games. And
for now.
Yeah, they're going back to the basics here, which is awesome to see.
Yes, there's going to be a multiple Widow Mine drop here in a second with the three initial ones from SpeCial. I guess the natural probably going to be the one that you can get to the quickest, try and do some damage to.
Yeah, the natural's the fastest and the main's the most unexpected, so...
Sometimes it's very tempting to counter-attack, by the way. Like, if you go for Blink Stalkers and you defend the initial Widow Mine drop, like, convincingly, and then you go for the counter-attack with, say, like, even just 7 Stalkers plus, it can be very scary for Terran to defend that properly, especially as we see right now SpeCial is not even going for tanks or anything. He's just got Marines.
You might be onto something here, Todd, because MaNa's actually gone for his third and fourth gas very, very quickly, getting the Observer out as well. Oh, and this Medevac runs right into those Stalkers, and the 4 Widow Mines...
yet.
No, he doesn't. The 4 Widow Mines, or 3 Widow Mines do land. Some okay connections. 1 Stalker does fall, and now he's just trying to buy, like, lost mining time, but this is nice handling with the probes. That Reaper, though, he comes back. He's haunting MaNa at this point.
Yeah, the one Reaper in the main base, looking to try and get some snipe. Gets one more probe. Nicely done here by SpeCial, who's going to drop down 2 additional gases back at home.
They got out? I am very surprised to see those Widow Mines running away.
They're just running away. They just scooted away.
They just got out of there. They just got out of there.
With their little legs.
Okay, so 44 workers for SpeCial against the 42 of MaNa. That's definitely a good spot for a Terran to be in, and MaNa is a little bit supply block here. So SpeCial already throwing a lot of fire at MaNa, and MaNa, some of the basic stuff that you need to get done, such as put down those pylons and maintain fluid pro production, have been thwarted.
Where are you going, Observer? Nowhere. That's where you're going. To dead. And actually, very important piece of information. SpeCial, when he sent the, I think it was the Reaper in the main base, he spotted the Robo Bay. So he should already know about the Colossus transition here. So he can already kind of start thinking about what he's going to do. Goes for a follow-up scan anyway and sees the full production. I mean, technically, this could be a Warp Prism and Gravik Drive and a Disruptor, but more often than not, it's going to be Colossus with Thermal Lance. And what was the best reaction, do you think? Like, does it have to be Vikings, or could you maybe say, like, I'll go for some tanks and Liberators and then do a push?
So SpeCial's been using his Raven in a weird way. Like, very often we found that a lot of Terrans just went for a big push, a big 2-base timing, while getting up a third behind it, and you disable the Colossi and just go ham and deny the third base, or at least kill the army, or something like that. But SpeCial's been using his Raven in a very odd way. He's been using it just to turret harass the whole game, and he does it very well. This third base, he sees it's not even mining at all. It's not even up yet, and he's probably going to be very happy about that. Nice initial blink, nice second blink, a nice shutdown of that drop.
Yeah, it feels useless at this point to even go for this. He left the Widowmine behind, though. MaNa,
Wow.
hiding in plain sight.
Ah.
He realized.
Gave him the benefit of the doubt. He kind of moved his Stalkers over for the Raven almost, but upon seeing the Stalkers surrounding the natural base as well, SpeCial was like, nah, I'm not going to waste my Raven. I'm going to keep it back home. It can come in handy later.
And with such a quick third base as well here from MaNa, he can very easily go into additional Templar Archive, a lot of gateways, just kind of get his production out of control. SpeCial for a long time on a lot of maps, by the way. He was always doing the pushes towards the third base. If there was a good spot for him to actually siege. Okay, that observer is going nowhere also. But yeah, like around the third base of MaNa here on the low ground, it could be very dangerous if SpeCial was to siege there all the way up at 12 o'clock, which I think is what MaNa is trying to delay right now with his move out on the map with the one Colossus. And again, SpeCial, remember on maps like Overgrowth, he was always doing that. This was a long time ago.
SpeCial's very good at utilizing like every unit in the best way possible. Like I just saw in the production tab, he's made a Liberator. And I doubt that's going to be joining the main army. I think he's going to be using that to distract and deal damage to the economy of MaNa, and also just allow him to push forward with this main army just a little bit easier.
I love how MaNa's buying time here. The more you can delay this push, the better it is for you.
And the thing is, he's having to do this blind as well, because he can't use an observer to scout this army because of the Raven. So even if he takes a shot here and there, he just needs time.
He already lost 2 observers this game. Really not that many units have died actually this game.
Even though it's been quite chaotic, yeah.
Last game, like by minute 2, we had this many units dead.
Okay, so we see that little red dot on the left side.
Oh, the tanks at the front by themselves and the Raven gets sniped.
Wow, that is a big pick-off for MaNa, and that really does help out. Now this Liberator, also the Stalkers are in position for the Liberator.
Yeah.
It really feels like MaNa's very prepared for the kind of style that SpeCial's going to be throwing at him.
Yeah, and now Interference Matrix has run out, so all he has to do is regroup. He can re-engage with the Colossi and fry this army in a second. Obviously, it still packs a hell of a punch, especially because of the 3 tanks.
Oh, and we see exactly that. Those Stalkers, they don't want to be lasting there. But a nice little counterattack by MaNa. This is a naked base of SpeCial, and he doesn't really want to be using any of his units to defend right now. He needs to deal damage. He needs to kill MaNa pretty soon.
Yeah, by the way, he has no proxy pylon. He sent those Zealots across the map a long time ago. He had planned for this. He put a bottle in the sea with a bunch of Zealots in it. And sadly for SpeCial, he opened that bottle, not knowing what was in it.
8 SCVs fall, the Liberators do join. Colossus attacking from multiple sides. The Bio is kind of out of position here near the natural, but there is a lot of SpeCial. He's pushing him back right now. The tanks take down a Colossus as well. That's just a small army left for MaNa, but it sure packs a punch. This is a low health Bio squad moving out on it, but will the Colossus fall? Trying to back up these armies with just a few reinforcements, and SpeCial has to back away, but the tanks, the army, it's being cleaned up. I think MaNa's in a really good spot now.
Yeah, he got the cleanup. They traded a lot, though. He lost every single Colossus except for just the one. He's going to drop down one more Forge. MaNa kind of went into panic mode, I think, for a second, too. He chrono boosted a lot of his gates here in the main base. He was like, I need to get enough to remove this right now, because otherwise this push is going to become impossible to break eventually if he keeps on reinforcing in that location.
And MaNa's getting a lot more confident too. Like, he's throwing down a second Forge, he's throwing down cannons, he's also throwing down a 4th base. Where are these cannons being placed? Because I want to know if they're like, I think these are anti-Liberator cannons so far. Yeah. And is one at the 3rd base as well? Yes, okay. So he's absolutely studied that game of Hearthstone against SpeCial and knows what kind of tricks that SpeCial can utilize against him. And look at this, he's got an army ready. He knows, he knows. This is great play by MaNa.
SpeCial again moving out here. He drops down 2 more factories and an armory.
You know what this is about, Todd? This is about a lot of tanks. SpeCial is one of the guys that likes to utilize tanks. We've also seen Uthermal in the past.
Yeah, but Uthermal plays a marine tank style.
Right.
Whereas SpeCial is very Mulder heavy here.
Absolutely. I'm just wondering what kind of game SpeCial wants to play. Like, he knows that he can't really get damage done against this guy anymore. He's throwing up a 4th CC
so
as well.
You mean, does he want a turtle or does he want to be aggressive?
Right, and is it just about getting a tank army, or is there any evolution of Terran after that for him?
Ghost in particular, right? Because he's already facing what is Archons and what is soon going to be High Templars with Storm.
Because, yeah, his SCV count's growing too. It's not just stuck. He's always keeping it in line with MaNa in that regard. And you see here, he's going to go up to 70. I won't be surprised if that number climbs to like 80, depending on what he wants to go for.
I asked him about this. I was like, what do you think about TY getting so many SCVs, with like 90 plus and stuff? He's like, I like it. I play like this too.
Actually, it's very normal in Terran meta these days to go up to like 85, 80-ish. And like,
Yeah, what about 90 plus?
I mean, TY can often be a little bit crazy about it when he goes to like 105 and it's like a 90 supply army. Isn't that scary? Okay, so these Liberators, they are spotted by MaNa, which is quite a big deal, because knowing where you're going to get hit by these guys, you can have units prepared and ready, which was a problem for Hearthstone in his series against SpeCial. But this, it's a large army from MaNa moving out across the map, but SpeCial does look pretty prepared with these tanks.
You know, when you have like Colossi and High Templars, you're very confident to move out on the map, right? All you have to do is not run into Liberation Zone or Ghost. In this case, there is no Ghost. So MaNa might be feeling very confident here, but as he goes forward, he's going to soon find out about how many tanks there are, which, I mean, right now he shouldn't really have any idea. Like, not many people really do this. This one High Templar going to land a storm before getting sniped. And that was MaNa's army out of position. Does he recall? Does he counterattack? He might just counterattack into the tanks. What I just talked about.
Oh no, has MaNa fell for the trap of SpeCial. That's a lot of siege tanks sieging up at top of that ramp. A really good storm. Another great storm goes down near the third base of SpeCial. Both their supplies are dwindling. And that PF...
He snipes the Prism.
Oh, the Prism side was beautiful. One Colossus left standing. And he also denied the fourth base. This is beautiful play by SpeCial. And the Medivacs get away too. Will the PF stay alive? There's one Immortal here. He's dealing quite a bit of damage. Does kill the fourth. But MaNa sacrificed everything to do it.
SpeCial gets a massive cleanup. And with it, takes a huge supply lead. Look at it. 148 to 98 now. 2-2 upgrades finishing right now for SpeCial. They still got a full production. But MaNa's economy took such a hit here with losing that fourth base. Even though SpeCial did lose 17 SCVs, it feels like he had a contingency plan because he made so many of them in the first place.
Fourth base for a fourth base. And MaNa does have a huge bank behind this, and now we're getting to see a bit of a first perspective from SpeCial about what he's going for here. We get to see his hotkey setup, which is really awesome. Factories and starports on the same one. That's unusual, but kind of cool. And yeah, he's getting a really big army together. And the supplies in the top right there, while the both players don't see these supplies, he is got a huge lead in this game.
I mean, if you're SpeCial here, you have to be feeling really confident. Up to 168 supply, 2-2 upgrades for his bio, +1 attack for the tanks. Dropping down the Ghost Academy now. So he was at least thinking of that. And I think that's going to be very important and helpful, even though right now, I mean, it just feels like he has so much in comparison to what MaNa has.
I think he does such a good job of knowing how much army to split up and how much army it takes to like stay back and defend kind of thing. Now this Warp Prism, well, that's quite a lot of Marauders, and the Marines, they shoot up and they dealt with the Warp Prism. So this method of harass and attack for MaNa totally shut down.
MaNa, he feels like he's losing patience. Coming in from behind with the High Templars, maybe some feedbacks, blinks forward to snipe some of the Medivac here. SpeCial just quick enough to get out of the storm range here with everything.
That is a very, very brave Marine just running through the base of MaNa. To scout what? I'm not sure. Maybe the next units, whether there's going to be Tempests out in the field or something
maybe
like that.
Maybe spot some Colossus or Disruptor, like, to have an idea. That's so many. It feels like a boudoir game. So many tanks.
This is crazy. Like, how does he plan on moving out across the map, though? Is it just going to be like one big push all together? Or, like, what's the plan? This is a style that I don't often see. So
yeah. I think he's going to wait for at least a decent amount of Ghosts. Right now he's up to 2. Maybe let them, you know, get a bunch of energy for EMPs and then go for it.
Because SpeCial is absolutely in a good spot here. Like, he's winning. He's got a better work count. He's got equal upgrades with the Protoss. And he's got a bigger supply.
Yeah, but sometimes big storms can change that in 1 second. So I think that's exactly what he wants to avoid.
So he is approaching max out here. So time, if MaNa can survive a minute, he can catch up in supply. So SpeCial, he knows this. And he starts moving across the map. Puts down a bunk, or rather a turret in the front too. I love that move.
He's scanning all over the place.
Oh my gosh.
Now he sees where the army is coming from. Ghost. Oh, there's a Ghost that's trapped in the middle of the tanks, but I don't think it's going to matter too much.
Oh, Todd, look at the amount of tanks. Oh my gosh, the amount of damage they're doing. This is a slow army of MaNa. He gets a good storm on those Medivacs in that bio, but man, he just walked into a field of fire.
Yeah, these tanks, they do so much damage when they're clubbed up like this. As soon as you walk inside of the line here where they can shoot, you're going to be dealing with the world of pain. And I think that 5th base is going to have to be abandoned in a second if MaNa tries to defend it. I think this is going to be it. Just needs to evacuate. Buy a little bit of time. He's sending Zealots across the map to try and kind of distract SpeCial, maybe do a little bit of damage to his economy, but SpeCial's so solid everywhere. He's got the wall of the natural. He's got 2 sensor towers on his side of the map. And he just looks unstoppable right now.
Yeah, and he's got units everywhere. He's got PFs everywhere too. Like, and when you see those 2 sensor towers on the map basically being on top of each other, as a Protoss, you're like, oh no, he's rich. He's healthy behind all of this too, and he's pushing me to the limit. MaNa couldn't do anything to slow down that that assault either. And SpeCial's still here. He's just staring at him.
He's taking his sweet time here. Just leapfrogging the tank forwards. As he was in siege, MaNa moves in. He's going to land some massive storms. There's just so many tanks that I don't know if MaNa can hold on. Immortals obviously pretty good against those. And MaNa is getting the clean up now.
Are you kidding me?
Good units.
Are you kidding me? The Immortal ran to the front line. It was hugging the tanks. It was so much friendly fire damage. The Immortal slayed all those heavy armored units. And the supplies have been absolutely reset.
Oh my god. All right. Thankfully for SpeCial, he killed that base before. Imagine if that hadn't been sniped. MaNa would be in such a good spot now. But now he still has to remake that. Both players going to have to replenish. So many of these Immortals were left over. This makes for a pretty good argument not to go for tanks against Protoss this last fight.
You know, I was thinking to myself, I was like,
but then again, I think it comes down a lot to the EMPs.
I think it comes down to a lot to the EMPs and also the positioning. And he was caught a little bit unsieged, right? But
yeah.
to say, like, that was a lot of tanks.
He like, what, 6 that he was moving? I don't know how MaNa knew. I think he didn't know. He just maybe got lucky and like moved in. Or maybe, I don't know.
I think MaNa's also been crafting the perfect anti-tank army with
yeah.
making the Immortal, or rather the Immortals to deal the damage, and the Archons to tank, because the Archons don't take extra damage, but also the splash from the Archons. When the tanks hit them, it doesn't really splash to other units very well at all, so they're perfect against tanks. And SpeCial against MaNa right now, and the supplies are really close, and MaNa's now the one marching out across the map. This game is nuts.
He's going into Colossus, by the way, behind this, which I like, because when you get, like, you know, that many Immortals, they kind of block each other, whereas the Colossus, they will be behind, so your army will not overlay on top of one another with those units, kind of blocking each other off.
I'm a little bit scared for SpeCial, because, okay, he moved back with his main army. I felt like he was moving out there, and MaNa's army was just moving back to the middle just to gain a little bit of control. So a lot of this right now in PvT, it's about controlling this middle alley. That is the fastest way to get to your opponent. If you have a tank army, you're not going to sneak around the side of the map to do anything, so controlling the middle right now is very important for MaNa.
Yeah, those tanks have +2 attack upgrade now. As the Bio's about to reach 3-3, we already have 3-3 from the Protoss, who's not looking to go into any kind of Stargate here just yet. I mean, they've been trading so much that he might not feel for MaNa like he has the economy to go for that right now. He's more worried about dealing with the immediate army that he needs to fight on the ground.
Okay, so there is a Warp Prism on the map. He has been wounded, has been spotted by that Marine. Does have High Templars in, so he's looking to shut down the economy. That is a nicely placed turret, though, so this idea from MaNa getting shut down for now. This is one of crazy series, man. This is one of those games where you just want to watch, you know, like I'm so happy to be commentating it. Like I'm so interested in how SpeCial is going to try and make this work, but I'm also so impressed by the fact that MaNa has held on like he has done. Yeah. And now this is a real game. It really is. We've got 5 High Templars on the map. 4 Ghosts are going to try to deal with them. 2 of those High Templars are across the map in the Prism, actually. So that means, oh my god, he lost one of them. So there is only one back at home here. There's really not that many storms for MaNa to try and deal with his army, and he's going to need them, I think. There's so many Marauders, Marines, and most of all, a massive amount of tanks. And this is nice. He does spot the run-by by MaNa, and he guides the units near his PFs, and also Ghosts are so good against Zealots. And the thing is, MaNa in that fight, he lost quite a few valuable units, but he is catching a lot of this army unsieged, and yet again, but the EMPs land, the Immortals form a line. There is so much buffer for these tanks now. The tanks just going crazy on that back line. Focus fire in the back line. There's a flank that tries to get in, but MaNa this time, his army does fall, it melts away, and the tanks reign supreme finally in this game. Holy darn, what a game by these two guys. That fight felt like maybe the wait should have happened the time before, but I think getting caught unsieged, that was not going to happen twice. And MaNa's little bit of overly ambitious engagement here didn't work twice in a row. As SpeCial had just enough. I mean, he just had so much here. Yeah, I mean, the first engagement, I thought that was ambitious. I thought he was going to get absolutely mowed down, but maybe all the bio was like low enough health that there wasn't really enough of it. And while there was a ton of tanks. And he didn't have storms now. He only had 3 High Templars, which, I mean, at this stage in the game is really low. And 2 of those were across the map in the Prism. He was trying to do harassment with charge loss, which at this stage in the game was not going to work out because almost every new expansion was a planetary fortress anyway. And he couldn't reach the main base because there were enough turrets, sensor towers to really shut that down. Definitely. I also think the positioning here, he was closer to the middle of the map, right, with the cliff to guard like the tanks and to decrease the chance of being flanked, and also like the concave from MaNa getting caught off guard at the start of that fight, losing like 2 or 3 Immortals in the Archon. That was quite a bruiser, but
He needed way more Immortals, I think, against this army too, because he was just so Marauder heavy on top of being tank heavy. Like they would have had to really like survive for a long time, and
maybe some more ability to flank as well from like the bottom side and the right side.
But he was losing a lot of units simultaneously across the map. Maybe he should have waited for those to die, then reinforce on his side of the map. There weren't that many ghosts actually. If he had had like, I don't know, 6 Archons, that could have made a world of difference too. But obviously it's easy to say here, you know, backseat gaming from the caster's desk.
I know. I used to hate it when backseat gaming was done by casters. Like, oh, we should have done this. I was like, no, dude. No, I know what I'm doing.
You get in the game and you do it.
Like, I practice this game 10 hours a day. I know what I'm doing. But that also, like, about the Archons as well. The Ghosts, even though Archons are so good against mech because they tank the damage so well and there's no extra damage done to them by anything, the EMPs kind of nullify that a lot because they deal with Archons so well.
All right, it's been a crazy series. We're here on Karos Junction for map number 4. Starting in the northwest, playing as the Blue Protoss, it is Liquid's MaNa.
And he's been putting in hell of a fight this series. But the man that's 2-1 up currently, spawning in the bottom right as our Red Terran, it is SpeCial. So impressed with the depth of SpeCial's play.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of Terrans complained about TVP and such, but he's showcasing that he's willing to go all stages of the game. Early cheese, normal standard games, and these weird late game situations where he just has so many tanks. I actually remember that's how he took out SpeCial. Or rather, he took out Classic one time on a Lost and Found quite some time ago with some real nice tank play.
His rebranding worked out really well, right? Like, once upon a time, he was called Major. He was already pretty darn good, but as soon as he changed nickname, ever since, he's never been the same. He's had so much evolution.
Well, he was also called every other name in the book, you know, but then he was like, no, I'm going to start anew, you know? Like, I know I've got a bit of a bad rep, and maybe my results haven't been what I wanted, but I put in a lot of time and effort. I am going to be now known as SpeCial. And he really lives up to the name, honestly.
Who knows? Maybe he'll inspire more people to rebrand as well.
That probe, losing a probe when you're already 2-1 down.
Yeah. What about you, the Muslim? When are you going to rebrand to Barbecue Man?
I mean, that is my name in other games. I think the real rebranding that needs to be done very soon, though, and if it doesn't, I'm going to be sad, it's Big Gabe.
Can you imagine, like, you're not familiar with esports and stuff, and you watch a tournament, and there's this guy called Big Gabe? That would be pretty inspiring.
I tell you what, sponsorship deals would be flying his way because that is a name and a half. But talking about this game, like so far it's standard openings, like losing that probe's actually quite a big deal.
Yeah.
Like even if you just think about the mentality of these players, MaNa's 2-1 down and he's against a real beast, and losing that probe when 99% of your games that doesn't happen, and now that Reaper can go very freely across the map, that's a bit of a rough start.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very different map though, like Karos Junction, you know. It feels like if MaNa wanted to maybe take things a little bit slower, he might play in his favor more, because they've tried playing aggressive, but it feels like SpeCial gets the better end of those fights a lot of the time.
Oh,
when they do.
This Reaper, by the way, kind of mishitting a few times. God. Sometimes you only shoot with one gun if you shoot too early. He might be able to say, if he manages to stay alive here, oh no, he doesn't, MaNa does take it out. Now, we didn't get to see the tech choice, right? Because I don't think it's even been thrown down
yet. He delayed it.
He certainly did. Twilight Council and a Sentry. So the Sentry will be utilized for the early hallucinations, so that's how MaNa will choose to scout this game.
Yeah. Do you think maybe MaNa should slow down and like not try to be as aggressive, maybe play a little bit more defensively, or do you think it was okay? It's just like the execution of SpeCial has just been better?
I don't want to coach him because I think he's already doing a really damn good job, because I really thought going into this series that SpeCial was going to kind of manhandle MaNa, and you know, I didn't think it was going to be an even match, but the thing is he's been going toe-to-toe and really brute forcing and battling back, and also being very, very stylistic with the way that he's been defending. He's had Stalkers always in the right positions. He's been cannoning in the right positions. He's been doing everything beautifully. All you could say is SpeCial should be doing everything a tiny bit better.
Yeah, MaNa has been unable to scout anything here inside of the main base. I mean, obviously he knows there's going to be a factory, but about the starports, and in particular with the tech lab on it, like this is something like you'd love to be able to make certain that is there. And what it is producing, especially when it is this, the cloak with the Banshee, against which you're going to need detection, but I guess because he wasn't able to scout, maybe he gets the Robo just to be extra safe against this.
Mr. Merlot, there is a second barracks being made, and this barracks is being made extremely early. This might be some cheeky play from SpeCial where he's going to opt for something like 3 Marine production at a time with no tech lab. Maybe even gets like a combat shield going on the way, but I wouldn't be surprised if this turns into some kind of all-in play where he just wants to move across the map and utilize the short distance on Karos Junction.
Good old Puma, tank, Banshee, Marine. He's getting a tech lab on the barracks.
Certainly is. So he's denied scouting so far, which is a big deal. And if this hallucination doesn't spot that second barracks, which it doesn't, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see like maybe Marauders eked out. If he starts a combat shield, that would definitely be indicative of a big push. 3 Marines at a time.
And MaNa might be the one planning to play aggressive as well. He's getting Blink. He's building up his Stalker count very nicely. He's even got probes for it. And he's got a proxy pylon on the other side of the map. He's moving across the map now.
While taking a third as well. So he's doing everything good. Now, this Banshee, once it starts dealing damage, which it does, those Stalkers do start moving back. But, oh my gosh, this is really dicey now.
SpeCial. Okay,
yeah,
he saw it.
He saw it, and he does stay alive. So he knows that the Stalkers are on the map now. Combat shield starts, Todd. This is the push that I was talking about. This Observer also spots the Banshee, so they're both kind of in the know here about what's going on. But the thing is, does MaNa know that a massive push is going to be going his way?
It's going to be hard for him to know because his Observer has to be kept on his side of the map to defend against the Banshee. Yeah. And ideally, if you knew about this, I think you'd go into charge, a lot of gateways, a ton of Zealots on the ground, but Stalkers, you don't need to make more Stalkers. They're going to be terrible against the double siege of Liberators and tanks, or even Banshee and tanks, plus the ton of Marines. SpeCial's moving out with SCVs now. And I think there's going to be no way for MaNa to see this coming. He's completely not ready. Even though he's getting a ton of gateways, he starts charge, but I mean, ideally, you would have liked to even cancel that third Nexus, I think.
Infrastructure-wise, MaNa's in actually a decent spot.
They're going to run past one another in the middle of the map.
Yeah, this is actually kind of bad for him. Like, he's been making a lot of the right choices, like putting down lots of gateways, not really relying on super tech, because there is a huge army knocking on his third base. The Banshee is thwarted by the Stalker and the Observer, but still, this will be able to get damage done. Shield Battery will slow it down indefinitely, though.
Is he going to blink? No. Oh, he goes for the tanks. He goes for the tanks. He wants to make sure to kill those before he can try and deal with those Marines that are too high in numbers for him to fight them with just the Stalkers, but he can start kiting. You talked about MaNa's Stalkers, and Stalker control in particular is going to need no less than perfect one here.
He is, and that Nexus is undoubtedly going to fall here, so MaNa kind of sent back to the Stone Age, and yet again in this series, 38 workers against the 50 of SpeCial. SpeCial, by the way, oh my gosh, this Banshee lives with basically 4 health here, 9 kills, 10 kills. His economy, he's been owned.
Yeah, he lost so many probes. MaNa still looking to try and defend against those Marines here. Very nice Guardian Shield. Actually helps a lot here with his units. He's forced to pull that back. Both players down 2 bases, but SpeCial is about to have 2 engineering bases finishing on his expo. He's got tanks ready for the defense. 3rd command center just finished.
Gosh.
And that Banshee went on an absolute rampage here.
Look at this, by the way. All SpeCial knows, all he needs to do is survive. He moves these tanks back even, just so he doesn't get blinked on. This Banshee still dealing so much damage. 18 probes have fallen. Marines, they get onto the high ground to deflect the War Prism as well. The tanks just shelling all these Stalkers. The poor Stalkers. GG. SpeCial takes the series 3-1 against MaNa, and what a series it was.
Too solid, too good for the Polish Protoss. SpeCial looked absolutely fantastic here, and this is no less than what you would expect from our favorite Mexican Terran here, who will move on to the quarterfinals where they'll face the winner of Rainer and Nurcio.
I'm super impressed with SpeCial. He's always been a damn good player, and just recently started truly showing it. The depth of his strategies is really good, and he played awesomely. And now we're going to get to hear from our champion, or rather, the champion in that series at least, from Sue.
Much, guys. Wow, SpeCial. 3-1 victory, you're moving forward, but that definitely looked a little bit dicey and dangerous a little bit there. What's your first feeling after being able to secure this victory and moving forward?
I was very surprised by his skill. Like game 1, game 2, sorry, I was in a very good position and he almost turned around the game. And in game 3, like he got some good moves and I had some good moves, but I feel like if he didn't have his army near my 4 base, when I killed his 4 base, I probably would have lost the game. So he played pretty well, I think, besides that little thing. And the last game was just a very good build that I had against his style.
Well, can you elaborate a little bit more on map 2? Because like you said, it turned into sort of a scrappy game, and it started off with you scouting that proxy robo, which was great, but then it really turned back and forth. So walk us through what happened.
So I saw no Nexus with my Refresh Reaper, and I see 2 gates, so I know 100% he's proxying something, a Stargate or a robo, so you scout for it. And I feel like that response is not really that good, because the barracks is very close to my base, so I can just fly it back. But I don't know, he made like a good decisions afterwards, and he played like a very, he felt like a little bit like hero-esque, you know, like with the very YOLO storms. But it's like a good way to combat games like that, so it was a hard game.
And then King's Cove, there were a lot of similarly dicey moments where it felt like the momentum kept swinging back and forth. Sometimes it looked like he was about to win, and then clearly there were times where you were about to take it as well. So were you worried throughout that map?
After I killed the 4 base, I knew I was very good position because I already had my 3 factory set up, and he was in a position like either, like I know how Protoss feel. They lost his 4 base, they have the army on my side of the map, and I'm taking a 4, so they want to attack into me because they think I can't defend. But I don't think he actually knew I was 3 factory tanks, so I had so many tanks, so he couldn't really break it. And the key point of that fight was that he was warping in zealots, and I target my marines to kill the war prism. If I don't kill the war prism, maybe he can break me. So.
Well, thankfully, you did secure the victory, and now you're going to be moving forward. It's not going to be Protoss anymore. It's going to be a Zerg player. Raynor and Nurchio are currently duking it out to see which of those 2 players will be moving on to face you. Raynor, clearly a really great Zerg player, and Nurchio has the history behind him. So do you have a preference there?
I don't know. I think Zerg is very OP, so whoever I play, I guess I will try to win.
Jesus. All right. Thank you for your honesty. Congratulations once again on moving forward. That is SpeCial, everyone. Back to you guys at the desk.